I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Keiko. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. False word. Important thing is, I'm giving you peace.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking it over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a seaport planet. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. That means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Birdo Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Deep Space Nine Wednesday for October 27th, 2021. Today we are watching Season 6, Episode 7, You Are Cordially Invited. This is the wedding episode of Worf and Jadzia Dax. We find out at the beginning of the episode that it's been a week since they returned to the station. So it's like real time, as this was a week after Sacrifice of Angels broadcast. So real time update on the station, and we'll see how it goes. Everybody's in a celebrating mood. And that is nobody. So I will cancel that. For those of you who don't know, S06E07 is actually, unfortunately, having an operation tomorrow. It's kind of emergency scheduled operation for her gallbladder. So all kinds of heck is going on here as we prepare. S06E07 and Nephew O'Prey will apparently be coming here after the operation, staying an indefinite amount of time while S06E07 recovers. So I might have to take the phone during the stream. If I do, I apologize. We got a whole bunch of unusual things going on, and also after today, I do not know what my streaming schedule will be. Everything is up in the air after today's stream, but I will keep you guys updated best I can. So, Not Ryan Johnson was first in the chat saying hello in Qapla. Hail Karoga. And he says, will Birdo Prey throw the can of out-of-date spam at Worf and Dax instead of rice? Stay tuned to find out. Well, if you remember Not Ryan Johnson, at Klingon weddings, you have bats that you use to beat the the bride and groom. John Araki is number 2. Welcome, John Araki. And he says, I think Mop's strategy with the spam is to wait for maggots to hatch and consume the spam so she can serve him gok. Oh, God. That sounds more like tube grubs. John Araki says, a true Klingon prefers live gok. Yes, absolutely. Richie Poole says, you are cordially invited, ? Bird of Prey, are you inviting us to your house? Sweet, what should I bring? Bring a gallbladder for Sisso Prey. Richie Poole says, party at Bird's house. John Araki says, hashtag free Chappelle. Hashtag steal Bird's garbage. Hashtag party at Bird's house. Hashtag weekend at Biden's. Richie Poole says, Ferengi prefer tube grubs that wiggle on the way down. Absolutely. And John Araki says, Cisco's Creole Kitchen has the best tube grubs this side of the Alpha Quadrant. They're the only person on Earth who can get him tube grubs is Cisco's father, Joseph Cisco. 47 Yorktown says, here comes the bride. Here comes the groom after the wedding. They'll share a room. Oh, boy. John Araki puts in the alpacas and the salt. John DeMarco says, greetings to everyone. Greetings, John. John Araki says, hashtag fear bop. Random Menace says, I feel invited. Will there be cake? Cake is eternal. Greetings from the future. Greetings, Random Menace. Of course there'll be cake. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. And Richie Poole says, cellular peptide cake for sure. Number 1 sci-fi says, Worf and Dax sitting in a tree. Kissing. I'm sure that's what he meant. John Araki says, there's somebody out at the garbage cans. I hope not. Words and Pictures says, Mr. Beautiful 7. Bird is good evening. What? Good evening, Words and Pictures. The Random Menace is Gold Bladder, another source of income. Jokes aside, all luck to the Sister O'Prey. Thank you. Words and Pictures is giving hearts to Sis O'Prey. Thank you. Words and Pictures. Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Qapla Loki says, I want to see O'Brien and Bashir beat the heck out of Worf. Klingon bachelor party, my ass. My God, when we find out the details of a Klingon bachelor party, I never want to get married as a traditional Klingon wedding. That food is not to eat. Son of a bitch. Qapla Valhalla. Cinnabon Bunny's in the house. Hello, Cinnabon Bunny. Good to see you. Yeah, if you remember what the so-called Klingon bachelor party and what was Bashir and O'Brien's mistake was ordering good food that was going to take time to be made, delivered. They should have just ate whatever they could get their hands on. Just replicate it and feed it and eat it. Not to wait 20 minutes to have a steak cooked. Anyway. Cinnabon Bunny says, this is the episode that ruined Dax. I don't know about that. Captain Trax is Bird of Prey. Hello. How is Sis O'Brien? She is still scheduled. She's scheduled to go into the emergency room tonight. She has to get another course of IV antibiotics. She had 1 course of IV antibiotics earlier. She has to get another course of IV tonight. And then in the morning, she's supposed to have the surgery. And then in the early afternoon, Cousin Dibs is supposed to drive Sis O'Prey here. And she will recover. Her and Nephew O'Prey will be here for, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks. I don't know how long it might be until she's recovered. and we'll see. It's going to be a unusual and unexplored situation, but we are looking to bring in a obviously we can't it's going to need more manpower than just Mamo Prey, as Sisso Prey is not going to be able to do anything. Really, in fact, we'll be lucky if Sisso Prey can manage to take care of herself. She's not going to be able to lift Charlie. She's not going to be able to get food prepared or anything. So we're going to have to bring in a babysitter, somebody at least 12 to 24 hours a day that can help take care of Nephew O'Prey. So that's what Mamo Prey and I are going to be looking through today. If anyone knows anyone in Queens, New York, who's has experience with 16-month-olds and wants to help out, we will pay. But yeah, we're gonna need a short-term babysitter. John DeMarco says no food for pilgrims on the road to Kalhala. Yeah, what is it? Kalahaya? Kalahaya. I'll see what it's pronounced. Anyway, so guys, if you're new here or if you're not, head to the Bird O' Prey 5 screening room. The address is at the bottom of the YouTube video, birdoprey5.com/SR. You can watch the episode in glorious 960p HD. Otherwise, watch it on your own, whether it's a Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime Video or Paramount Plus. You can watch it there. And also, if you have your own copy, obviously on DVD, you can bring the DVD up and get ready to watch it there. It is season 6, episode 7. You are cordially invited. This originally premiered November 10th, 1997, just 3 days prior to my birthday. Directed by David Livingston and written by the esteemed Ronald D. Moore. Next week, the episode Resurrection, which is a mirror universe episode, but it takes place in the main universe, but with mirror universe characters. So I guess it counts as a mirror universe episode. Not the strongest episode next week. But this episode, I'm going to say at the time, I thought it was a great episode. In hindsight, I might call it slightly overrated. Not saying it's a bad episode. I'm just saying slightly overrated. Of course, understand at the time this episode was written, nobody expected Jadzia was going to die. That had not yet happened. That was kind of a surprise to everybody. So no one expected Jadzia wouldn't survive into season 7. That was last second contract issues that caused her death, her untimely death in Trek. So let's go over to the screening room and get started. I will count down and then we'll get screenshots on the view screen every 10 seconds or so. If you're watching in the screening room, On a desktop or laptop, open the screening room in a separate browser tab or a separate browser. If you're on a mobile device, try to open the screening room on a separate device so you can still hear the YouTube window for commentary. Now, for YouTube, it might be a little further behind. The delay might be a little higher, a little longer than usual, because I tried to set up the automatic closed captioning that I was told I have access to. But in order to do that, I had to take it off low latency. So it's on normal latency. So I think that means, like, instead of 5 seconds behind, you're like 10 seconds behind. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry. Also, I hope that it actually does the closed captioning, because I did a quick look. I didn't see the closed captioning, but supposedly it's enabled now. So we'll see. Okay, so in the screening room, going to count down, and I will count down from 10 because of the extra latency. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, load. And we have initialized. Captain's personal log. It's been a week since their return to Deep Space Nine, but celebration continues. The station's been designated headquarters for the 9th Fleet. It's one of the most tempting targets in the entire Alpha Quadrant. But for right now, the war seems very far away. And Cisco comes up to Ops, saying, "Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Captain." He says, "You know how much he missed hearing Kira saying good morning?" And she says, "Do you know how much she hated saying good morning to Ducat?" Says, "What's going on?" Bunch of ships submitted resupply requests. 1,000 messages from Starfleet Command awaiting his eyes only. And General Martok's waiting in his office. And he says he'll start with the general. And he says, "It's good to be home." She said once or twice. She's smiling. Cisco still very happy to be back on DS9. And he says, Martok says, "You knew about this, didn't you?" And he says, "I had a good idea." And Martok says, "Yeah, you did nothing to stop it." He says, "No, in fact, he recommended him for the position himself. Offer his recommendation as congratulations to be a Supreme Commander of the 9th Fleet." And Martok says, "Do you have any idea how much paperwork a Supreme Commander has to do? Does he want to transfer to the station?" And he says, "No, he's going to keep his flag on the Rotaran. And he wants Worf to continue being his principal intelligence officer." And he says that's fine. Worf can't get enough work anyway. And he says, and at least he'll stop talking about his wedding. Until his son arrived, it was all he could talk about. Then his son arrived. That was all he could talk about. The man is single-minded. Cisco says he never met Alexander. What's he about? And he's like, he's a good kid. He's a good guy, but he's not the best soldier. So now Alexander's talking to Dax with Worf there. And he flooded an entire deck with superheated hydraulic fluid. It smelled like burned dog hair. Captain took him 3 days to clean it out. The Rotaran's crew thinks of him as a good luck charm. The more mistakes he makes, the safer they feel. He hopes the Yavang crew feels the same. Worf says, Yavang? He's like, yes, the battle cruiser Yavang took heavy losses. Most of the Rotaran crew is being transferred there at the end of the week, including him. Oh. More blood wine? Well, not for Worf. Uh-oh. Quark says, handsome young man. Must get his looks from his mother's side. So Quark wants to see if they'd reconsider the offer of getting married in the bar. Worf says, no, the ceremony will take place in the Klingon homeworld after the war. And Dax says, no, Worf, let's do it here before Alexander leaves this week. He says, wait, I thought you said we wanted to do it. And she's like, but she'd hate to do it before Alexander leaves. And she says, besides, it might be a long time before you see him again, which is code for you might never see him again, Worf. He's going to war. So Worf says our wedding plans have changed. He would like Alexander to be his type Weon. He doesn't know what it is. Sword bearer. It's like best man. Oh, Alexander is so happy. And he puts and he just smacked the Ferengi waiter down. And Quark is like, I'll put that on your tab. When did Alexander and Worf get to have such a good relationship? Last week's episode, they were not doing too great. All of a sudden, they're happy-go-lucky, loving father and son. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. This episode is so terrible, they had to recast Dax. That's Cinnabon. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Greetings, Columbus, Ohio, Mike Richards. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Dun, 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 dun. 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 Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And John DeMarco said Worf and Alexander had a ceremony where they sliced their hands. That fixes everything for Klingon. Qapla, Aravixander. Now Dax says there's fortunately not that much to do. Worf's been playing the ceremony for the last 3 months. He's got everything figured out, including the color of her shoes. And Kira says it seems like it's all about what Worf wants. What do you want? She says a traditional Klingon wedding with all the trimming. And it's something he's wanted since he was a boy. Probably something being raised by human parents. Anyway, Worf is very sentimental. She says all men are sentimental. They just cover it up with scowls and clenched jaws. There are times when Worf literally gets misty-eyed, talking about Klingon rituals. So that's why you're letting him make the plans for the wedding? She says mostly, but the truth is, she's already been through 5 trill ceremonies, 3 as a bride, 2 as a groom. she's getting bored. And it says, is her imagination or is Odo just avoiding us? And Kira says, yeah, Odo's been avoiding each other since the Dominion left the station. They've been afraid of talking about what happened when the Dominion occupation. And Dax is like, what do you mean? And Kira says, I don't want to talk about it. So Worf brings O'Brien, Bashir, Martok, and Cisco together. And he says, by Klingon tradition, Kal Haya, the path of clarity, he's accompanied by his closest male friends. Martok says, you cannot experience the experience that awaits us. 4 long nights of song. It's like unbridled pleasures. He says, are we talking a bachelor party? And he's like, it's similar. They'll meet at the Hollow Suite at 2100 hours. And Martok advises everyone to get plenty of rest. O'Brien says, good thing Keiko's not here. He says, what's Jadzia doing? She's going to be taking a different journey, says Martok, with his wife, who I guess was able to get there overnight. The mistress of a new great house must approve all marriages. So the next 4 days, she's going to be judging Jadzia. It's a good thing it's this lady and not Cinnabon, because Cinnabon would have already thrown out Jadzia. And he says, you put on weight and your hair is going gray. Yes, the neutrinos are in bloom, John DeMarco. O'Brien said that. He presents Benjamin Sisko, the mistress of the House of Martok, the wife and the mother of his children, Sirella, daughter of Linkasa. Welcome to Deep Space Nine. She doesn't have a lot of ridges. Section 25 Alpha. She'll find her way. She doesn't need to be escorted. Martok says, magnificent, isn't she? Cisco, this doesn't say anything. Worf is there. He says, are those veal Brahma candles? Says, yes, Worf. She traveled to Kronos. She captured 3 Targs, made the ritual sacrifice at dawn, came back to the station, then spent 2 days molding them into handles with her own hands. He's like, I was just asking. She's like, no, you were criticizing. Again, she's like, wait, she's not going to reject because the Valhalla candles were replicated. And there she is now. Let's ask her. Oh, Worf is there. Dushtan box. Jadzia is speaking Klingon. She's like, what is he doing here? He meant no disrespect, then leave, she says. And Worf leaves. Your worthiness to join our house will now be judged, according to traditions of her family. She says she is prepared, my lady. She says, I doubt that. A Klingon woman will find it difficult. For an alien, it will most likely be impossible. She says, I like a challenge. She says, I will not have my authority challenged by you. Jadzia's like, that's not what I mean. She's like, well, if you can't say what you mean, say nothing at all. The evaluation begins tomorrow morning. Have the traditional meal prepared before she arrives. And, in future, if you cannot trouble yourself to make real Bahama candles, try not to use such obvious fakes. So Worf was right for the first time in his life. She blew him out. Worf tells Martok, you never told her that the wife was opposed to the marriage. Says, well, the wife thinks that bringing aliens in will make them less pure. And Worf says that's a biased and xenophobic view. Martok says, well, we are Klingons, Worf. We conquer other species. And he's like, well, Jadzia is worthy, and he knows Jadzia is worthy, but Martok can't bring that up. No, maybe you shouldn't speak with her. Yeah, he wouldn't do that if he was, oh, why? The truth is, she doesn't like you that much either, Worf. Don't let it bother you. He had every right to bring him into the family, and she's accepted the fact there's nothing she can do. How comforting, says Worf. Ah, ha, ha. Martok is laughing. And they say you have no sense of humor. Martok is hysterical, laughing. So now people have entered the cave that is going to be the start to their journey to Kahile. And he says, Bashir says you could do without the heat, and the decor isn't great either. So O'Brien says there's got to be a ritual before the party. So they look at Alexander. He says, you're asking me? I can't even say my name in Klingon.
Scanning. Indications negative at this time.
The random menace with a €2 super chat says, did you say douche at Mac? Sounds fast. No, I did not say that. I did not say that. So they gave out these things. He says, at the end of the wedding, we use them to attack Dax and Worf. Until the ceremony, keep them all with you at all times. He says, Cisco says, I trust this is non-lethal. And he says, it's symbolic only. And Alexander goes to eat a big, turkey leg. And he's like, that food's not to be eaten. It's there to tempt us to break our fast. There are 6 trials on the path to Kalhaya. They now begin a fast that'll continue until the wedding. And Bashir's like, that's 4 days. And Martok says it is a long time. It's a short time, but we'll do. So the other 4, pain, sacrifice, blah, 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 and death. And he's like, yep, sounds like marriage, all right. So Jake comes in to Quark's bar, says he's up early. And he says he sold his first book. And he says, oh, how much you get for it? He's like, that's a figure of speech. They don't pay him. They're going to publish a book of his stories. And he says, oh, the round of drinks is on the house. He says, really? He's like, no, it's a figure of speech. Like, what are they doing in there? Quark says, it's a Klingon bachelor party. You're a writer. Use your imagination. Oh. Grandma? Oh, the heat is another trial. They're still on the road to Kalhaya. Brian says maybe you should turn down the heat for Alexander's sake. Alexander says it's okay, just need some water. Bashir says, turning down the heat might be a good idea. And says, the whole point is to push yourself to the limits of your endurance, says Martok. He will, Alexander says. He wants to try the entire path to get higher. Stoke the fire again! As you wish, says Worf. Of course, we cannot expect you non-Klingons to have the same stamina. If you wish to quit, no one will think any less of you. Bashir said, who said anything about quitting? And Sisko says, not me. O'Brien says, I like the heat. Now they start singing in Klingon. Yado Toho Yado Bahasha Yado Sasha. Meanwhile, Dax is reciting something, holding 2 heavy buckets of boiling water. And she says, again! She's done it 3 times already. You continue to rush through the ceremony. Your body position is poor, and the placement of the braziers and the pedestals is sloppy. You're a complete and utter failure. She's like, do you know how heavy they are? A Klingon woman wouldn't complain. She's like, you wouldn't make a Klingon woman do it 3 times in a row. She says, I wouldn't have to. She'd have done it correctly the first time. End this now, Jadzia. Go back to your own people. They will tolerate your weaknesses and your failures that a Klingon family never would. In our house, you'll always be an alien, an outsider. At best, you'd be an object of pity. You'd never be accepted, never an equal, because you could never truly be one of us. Wow. You see, if only this lady had known Curzon, she'd have more respect. Does she not know of Koloth, or Koloth? Tomar Kales. Tomar Kales. Jadzia will not have it. She will definitely keep going. Jedi Bill says hello, bird of prey. Qapla, warrior. Qapla, Jedi Bill. And Super Blubberpuss says Qapla, bird of prey and family. Hope you're doing well. We're doing okay. Super Blubberpuss, Sisso Prey needs a little help. He's having some surgery tomorrow. So the Klingons dabbled in democracy. It was called the Dark Times. She was going to give broader historical perspective along the way. Return to the story of her 23rd maternal grandmother, Shenanera, daughter of Emperor Lacord of the Second Dynasty. Dax says, you see, that's where we run into a problem. She did some research. When Emperor Raklaw was killed, all the members of the imperial family were put to death, including Shenanera. When the Third Dynasty was founded 10 years later, a new group of Klingons were given the titles and names of the original imperial family to create the illusion of an unbroken line. So the woman you think of your 23rd maternal grandmother isn't related to you at all. Your real ancestor's name was Karana, a concubine living outside the imperial stables. She's like, my grandmother's name was Shenanera. She's like, that might have been what's passed down from generation to generation, but there's no basis in fact. But she's like, but who cares about fact? The Chronicle says you have imperial blood in your veins, and that's exactly what we'll keep telling everyone. She's like, continue with the saga. Jadzia says, my pleasure. So Jake runs over to Kira and says, is it true Dax is having a party tomorrow night? He's like, "Is my invitation get lost?" He's like, "I'm sure you're welcome." And Nog is too. And now Odo and Kira again avoid each other. And no, they all come out of the holodeck. They all look so serious. Jake says it's all an act. They don't want us to know what kind of debauchery they're up to. So Kira says, like, what? And Jake says, it's a Klingon bachelor party. Use your imagination. Now begins the trial of blood. Who will be first? And we've got Bashir half asleep. So everybody else takes a step backwards. It makes it look like Bashir took a step forward. Worf says, I didn't expect it would be you, Doctor. And he said, neither did I. And he says, don't worry, the pain will last only a moment. So in Jadzia's quarters now, we got like Hawaiian fire dancers and Lita and the entire Morn is dancing. Everybody's dancing. The blue guy's dancing. Jadzia and Kira are all dressed all fancy. Kira's doing a stupid Bajoran clap. Lieutenant Manuela Torre. Rom's never seen anything like it. And Lita sees something she likes. Oh. Let's get something to eat. A woman of many talents, says. It's a shame. She's gonna waste them. And Jake says, are you jealous? And he says, that's not a denial. It's not to be quoted either, says Quark. When did you first realize you had these feelings for Dax? He's interviewing Quark. So now Bashir and O'Brien are hanging over hot coals. He says he's had a future. He has the vision. He can see it so clearly. What is the vision? I'm going to kill Worf, says Bashir. I'm going to kill Worf. That's what he's going to do. He can see it clearly now. And O'Brien is also saying, kill Worf. Kill Worf. Kill Worf. Prayers for Sisso Pray. Thank you, Super Blubber Puss. Good job throwing the doctor under the bus. So Odo comes over and Kira's talking. They're getting some complaints about the noise. He says this party will continue until further notice on the personal authority of the station's first officer. And Odo says, you're in a good mood. She's like, well, it's a good party. She says, Odo, we have a lot to talk about. We agree. She's like, so let's talk. He's like, now? He's like, don't you think we put it off long enough? Enjoy yourselves. He relieves his deputies. She's like, let's find someplace a little quieter. Thanks for the show, says Dax. It's like, thanks for getting the day off. The captain owes a favor. How would you like a couple of days off? It's like, just give her something fun to look at for the rest of the evening. Yeah. Uh-oh, the Klingon woman's back. And he says, you leave her or she'll cut her head off and hang it from her belt. And Jadzia says, you weren't invited. Martok's wife says, it's time for the Brenon ritual. She's like, I'm busy. She's like, you're busy acting like a Ryzian slut. She's like, you will come now and perform the ritual to my satisfaction, or I will cancel the wedding. Tarlak Doh, says Dax. And the wife pulls out her knife, and Dax knocks it away. Nog comes and goes, ladies, please, and gets kicked out of the way. And then she spits on Dax. And Dax is like, why is everybody stopped? The party's just getting started. And Dax starts the dancing again. But Jake and Quark know something wrong. Bad just happened. It's the next morning. Dax is stumbling around. Wants double rack to Gino. And Morn and the Hawaiian guy just come up out of wake up from behind the bed, the couch, and they're about to leave. Oh, and Worf is at the front door. And he's like, excuse me, sir. He's like, Jadzia, we need to. She puts up her hand. You're mad. I'm concerned, he says. She's hungover. Can we talk later? Says, we have a very serious problem. Sirella has canceled the wedding. She says you attacked her. She pulled a knife. You're forbidden from joining the House of Martok. So he's like, so I won't be invited to family picnics. I'll live. Worf says, I can't believe you taking this so lightly. She's like, can you hear it? It sounds like voices. She goes to the closet. And it's Odo and Kira talking in their closet. Odo says, is the party over? He's like, you could say that. It's, what, 10:30 in the morning? She's like, I'm on duty. Kira runs out, and Odo says, so am I. It was a great party. And Worf says, we must deal with the situation now. Dax says, stop yelling, my head hurts. You must go beg her forgiveness. Dax gets up. She says, I don't beg. You are allowing your pride to blind you. She's like, look who's talking. You want me to go crawling to some old hag so you can have your traditional Klingon wedding? It's like, this is more than tradition. You and I have embarked on a spiritual journey. One that'll bind you through this life and into the next. He's like, maybe you're on a spiritual journey, Worf, but I just want to get married. So why don't you go back to sweating and bleeding with your friends in the holosuite? When you're done, meet me at Benjamin's office, and he'll perform the ceremony. It's happening all over again, Worf. If that's your attitude, perhaps Sirella was right about you. There should be no wedding. It's fine with me, says Jadzia. This is exactly how her contract negotiations went, unfortunately. Okay, Cap. Kill Worf! Kill Worf! What's going on? The wedding's off! O'Brien says, off? Why? She says, because he's a pig-headed, stubborn man who's put tradition before everything else. He says it's because she's a frivolous, emotional woman who refuses to take him or his culture seriously. And he says, you can see the problem. He's like, yeah, they're both right, says O'Brien. And Bashir says there's only one thing for it. Dinner. You'll get the menu, says Quark. So back on the Defiant, which is where, of course, Worf has his quarters set up. Martok comes in. Worf, you made a grave error. Perhaps, says Worf. Do you still love her? Of course. However, in this case, that might not be enough. Anyone can see we're hopelessly mismatched. She's had 5 marriages. This would be his first. When she's laughing, I'm somber. When I'm happy, she's crying. She plays tango with the Ferengi bartender. He can barely stand him. She mocks everything, while he takes everything seriously. The random menaces, this is what I call good writing. Even a telenova plot is good. Have a good day, Cinnabon. Martok says, do you think Sirella is anything like the woman I thought I'd marry? She's a prideful, arrogant, material woman who shares his bed far too infrequently for his taste. But he loves her deeply. We Klingons often tout our prowess in battle, our desire for glory and honor above all else. But how hollow is the sound of victory without someone to share it with? Honor gives no comfort to a man alone in his home and his heart. Oh, powerful words from Martok. Oh, 1 steak with mushrooms, baked potato, sour cream, and a sandwich. 2 bowls of linguine, Bajoran shrimp with extra cheese. 1 loaf of lava bread. Where's the Qapla juice? They're still squeezing the roots, unless you'll wait. And Cisco comes in and says, what do you... And no food for those on the path to Kalhaya. No refunds for those on the path to Kalhaya either, says Quark. And Cisco demands he takes all the food away. He said, the wedding's back on. Nope, she refused to change her mind. The wedding is still off. Where is she, says Cisco. In her quarters. Cisco's going to go talk to her. Just keep them away from the food. God damn it. That would really piss me off. It's either you're getting married or I'm eating. You don't get to keep me from eating and not get married. He wanted me to go crawling on my hands and knees to beg her forgiveness. Beg her, me. I was once the Federation ambassador to the Klingon Empire. I negotiated the Khitomer Accords before Worf was even born. He says Curzon negotiated the Accords, and you're not Curzon anymore. What the hell is that supposed to mean? It means you can't expect Sirella to treat you like Curzon just because you carry his memories. If it means you've got to bow down and kiss her boots, that's exactly what you're going to do. And you knew that. The moment you decided Worf, you knew sooner or later you'd have to bow down and show her the respect that she's due. She's like, this is Worf's fault. Worf and his traditional Klingon wedding. And Cisco says he may have let go to his wedding. Worf is just a kid. You're 350 something years old. And it says, and if you can't abide by that, you never should have let yourself fall in love with him in the first place. And you are in love with him. She says, I wasn't looking to fall in love. She was perfectly happy. She had friends, a career, adventure. And one day, this Klingon with a bad attitude walked into her life. And the next thing she knew, she's getting married. After 356 years and 7 lifetimes, she still leads with her heart. And Sisko says this is what he's always loved about her. And that's why Worf loves her too. Aww. Aww. A hug. Whatever happened to young Callow Ensign she used to know. The one that used to turn to her for advice all that time. The one with hair. I grew up, says Sisko. Super Blubberpuss says, Bird, how far have you made it through the Squid Game? I watched episode 7 just before this. So 8, 9, and 10 are left. I got some Klingon drummers. Dun 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 dun. That's not the beat, but it should be. Quark's bar is quite tall for a promenade. Like, how tall is the promenade? With fire and steel did the gods forge the Klingon heart. So fiercely did it beat, so loud was its sound. The gods cried out, on this day we are brought forth the strongest heart in all the heavens. None can stand before it without trembling in its strength. But then the Klingon heart weakened. Its steady rhythm faltered. And the gods said, why have you weakened so? We've made you the strongest in all creation. It sounds like my heart. And the heart said, I am alone. And the gods knew that they had erred. So they went back to their forests and they brought forth another heart. And now Jadzia comes in. Oh, man. You gotta love that Klingon red wedding dress with that cutout right there where the cleavage is. And Alexander gives a batleth to each of them. But the second heart was stronger than the first. The first was jealous of its power. And they fight, and Jadzia puts her batleth. And it says the second heart was tempered by wisdom. It says if we join together, no force can stop us. And when the two hearts began to beat together, they filled the heavens with a terrible sound. For the first time, the gods knew fear. They tried to flee, but it was too late. The Klingon hearts destroyed the gods who created them and turned the heavens to ashes. To this very day, no one can oppose the beating of two Klingon hearts. Not even me. Worf, son of Moog, does your heart beat only for this woman? Yes. And will you swear to join with her and stand with her against all who oppose you? I swear. Jadzia, daughter of Qapla, does your heart beat only for this man? Yes. And do you swear to join with him and stand with them all who would oppose you? She swears. Then let all present here today know that this man and this woman are married. And there's the big kiss. And notice she said man and woman. And now? No, not yet. It's not time to beat them yet, Doctor. Now? Not yet, Doctor. Patience. And my lady, says Jadzia, welcome to the House of Martok. And my daughter. And she embraces Dax. And everybody's clapping. Now, Doctor! And the last 2 frames of the episode are Bashir and O'Brien charging at Worf with their battle sticks to beat him senseless for the path to Kalhaya. Okay, you know what? Maybe this episode was not overrated. This was a pretty damn good episode. I must take it back. Not overrated at all. This was a damn good episode. A lot of Klingon lore. Remember, this is where we learn about Klingon weddings, the gods. We know that the Klingons killed their gods. This gave us more background as to how and the why. I really loved hearing the whole thing, the path to Kalhaya. I gotta say, it kind of fit with what we knew about Klingons. Great episode. And, lovely, beautiful scene, the beautiful Jadzia Dax in that wedding dress. Man, oh man. A rock solid says Terry Farrell never looked more beautiful than in her wedding dress here. Absolutely stunning. You're goddamn right, rock solid. You are goddamned right. LDG says I'm gonna kill Worf. Yeah, now, says John DeMarco. Now, yeah. Absolutely epic ending of the episode. Great episode. Man, that seeing Jadzia in HD in that, I gotta tell you, I think I'm gonna have to get some screenshots of that, because damn. That's some good stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you all for coming. So Sisopre has the operation in the morning. I will let you guys know when I hear stuff as to what's going on. Robert Rose Jr. says hello today. Berto Prey, Mamo Prey, and the Sassy. Thank you, Robert Rose. So yeah, Sisopre is going to be having her gallbladder removed in the morning, and then be coming here with Nephew O'Prey for recovery for however long it's needed. Not now, Sassy. Not now. Tomorrow. So she went crazy. Yeah. So I'll let you guys know exactly what's. She has an infected gallbladder and problem. They need to remove her gallbladder. Rock solid. She was in a lot of pain today. She went to urgent care and then emergency room. She's going tonight to get more IV antibiotics. but it needs to come out tomorrow, they say. So that's where we are. So thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll do next week, next Deep Space Nine, next Wednesday is the episode Resurrection. And that's the phone. So I'm going to get going. Qapla all, bird out. But wait, there's more. The video might be over, but there's more fun to be had. First, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have clicked that bell icon to get notifications of new videos in your YouTube feed. Share this video on social media to help this channel fight the algorithm that favors big media. Also check out www.birdopray5.com for links to my other channels, various social media accounts, merch store, Dear Bop, affiliate links, and all your Birdo Pray 5 needs. At the main Birdo Pray 5 YouTube channel, you can find all sorts of live streams and unlisted videos, YouTube membership options, and a community section with polls and updates on the channel. On the secondary channel, Birdo Pray 5X, you can find overflow content that doesn't always make the main channel. Subscribe to both channels, please. Thanks for watching. Remember, I stream almost every day. This is Birdo Pray 5 saying goodbye, world. Until next time. P.S. Hail Sassy, hail Charlie, and of course, hail Karoga.